I decided to return just because I think two reasons. One of them is I know it's a weird situation to be in, and I'm very upset, and then, I don't have to explain my feelings. My mom died, but I think it wouldn't help me, or my mom wouldn't come back if I just laid and cried my eyes out. That I know for sure. It's like pure logic. So I try to be very rational thinking. And secondly, I think I need to be strong for her. She was a very strong woman, and I think one thing is talking about being strong, another thing is, demonstrating. I think that's also my way for her, to honor her.
Train, this becomes stronger than the other ones because you're literally very intense in the gym.
Okay. We tried to survive for a couple of years, didn't really work out, and then at the end my mom made the decision for us to have a better future, to find rescue somewhere else or find a life somewhere else. And yeah, we were transported, as I said, smuggled from one country to the other, and somehow ended up in Denmark. And yeah, it's all due to my mom and her intelligence, and her, I guess, will to fight and to survive. The first time I really got in touch or saw football was in the refugee camp in Denmark, and this is when I try to explain it. I always say it's like one of those moments when you get hit by lightning, and then everything kind of makes sense, and then it's almost everything's happening in slow motion. I was standing behind a fence and watching some Danish kids playing football, Danish girls actually, my age. Around 10, 11 years old, and I don't know, they just looked so happy and free. And at that moment, I guess, I wanted to be on that field and feel what they were feeling. And I have this thing in me, I guess the fire or obsession. I get obsessed with things that I really need to, achieve, or the goals I set myself. I was born good. I'm good. No, honestly, I think I've always been very athletic. And also when I started playing football, at that point I was more athletic than the other kids. But the technical part came later on, because I said I was obsessed, and I used to watch videos or watch on TV, your idols, Ronaldo, Nazario, even Zlatan, Beckham, and you used to see something and you used to just go outside for hours. I could be outside from literally 1 to 12, try to figure out how to do something. And then that also, the more you train, the easier things become in general with everything. With football, you can always learn. You're never perfect. There's not going to be a moment you say, oh, I've learned everything, because you can always improve something. So for me, my wish is obviously at this, does keep going the right way. You do want that gap to get closer. You do want more kids around the world to have, girls have the access for the game, because it is a beautiful game, and it's not only makes you happy playing, but also it's like a great tool to educate. And it's a tool to, change your life. And I wanted to, every girl around every corner of the world to have it.
Exactly. Yeah, I actually, but that was during the Euros.
Final team to win. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
So of those three, it's very hard to choose because I think they all represent me and I love me. Football, I play because I love it. Surgeon, being a UNESCO ambassador, I do it because I love to help other people. So all of these are very close to my heart. First and foremost, I think it's important to have dreams, so keep dreaming. Secondly, I think it's important to believe in yourself. And third, it is to work very hard because nothing in life comes easy. But you have to have those three ingredients. Defeats are a part of football, a part of life. I think I always try to learn from my defeats, try to learn so I don't make the same mistake again, so I don't lose again. I think it's just mentally have that mindset, I guess. Super excited to be a part of Goal of the Century with Hyundai.
I'm so
Nادیم was born in Afghanistan. At the age of 11, her father, a general in the Afghan National Army, was executed by the Taliban. Her mother fled the country with her 5 daughters, selling their possessions to fund their escape. On forged passports, they travelled by truck to Italy, a refugee camp in Denmark. And it was there that she discovered football after seeing a group of children playing it over a fence. And despite not speaking any English or Danish, she gestured to the coach that she wanted to play, and he let her join in. Well, Nadiya went on to play for the Danish national team over 100 times for her adopted homeland. And last week, Nadiya was on air covering the World Cup, but her joy at this career high as a broadcaster was sadly tarnished by the terrible news that her mother had been killed in a road accident.
Let's have a look how the table is after all that. I'm afraid Nadia's had to leave us at short notice.
And despite losing the person she called the most important in her life, Nadiya returned to work and was back on air within days. And Nadiya joins me now. Nadiya, thank you so much for joining me. First, my deepest condolences to you on the loss of your mother. It was an awful thing to hear about here at the World Cup.
Yeah.
We were all aware of what had happened and you had to leave very suddenly, and then we found out why. Your mother had been killed in this accident. But it also made me go away and research you and your life, because I didn't know much about you, if I'm honest. And what I found was quite extraordinary. And I wanted to get you on the show just to really talk about, first, what's happened to you in the last 7 days, but also to talk about why your mother was so important to you and this extraordinary journey you went on with her from Afghanistan to get you to where you are today. You were commentating last week, it was last Tuesday,
Yeah.
and you suddenly get told that your mother has died in this awful accident.
Yeah.
That, for you, must have been just given all you'd been through together,
Yeah.
a terrible moment.
Yeah, definitely. I think, as you said, Tunisia versus Denmark, sitting there, and I started receiving a lot of messages from family. No one was really telling me what was happening. Everyone was like, have you heard? Are you on your way? And finally, in the second half, I got a call from my cousin, and he had told me that my mom had passed away. And for the first 10 minutes, I wasn't believing it. I was like, that can't be. My mom was a healthy woman and, 57 years old. I couldn't really believe it, especially the way they told me. It was like an accident. And yeah, flew back home, and yeah, it was the reality. It's definitely heartbroken, unexpected, not only for me, but for the entire family.
And the really sad part of this was that she'd gone to the gym early so that she could get back in time to watch you commentating, because that was what she was so proud of. And, that's just a twist of fate.
Yeah, definitely. I think one thing that I know for in life for sure is that nothing's 100%, and everything can happen right away. And then, as I said, we did not expect it, and her dying that way is hard because I was expecting to live and be with her for the next 20 years. One of the closest persons in my life. I mean, the closest person. One of the strongest women I've ever encountered in my life, not just because she was my mom, but because the hardships she's been going through, and how she raised us, 5 kids alone, actually took us from one continent to another. And yeah, losing her life that way hurt me. But on the other hand, it's, I have her in me and her, spirit, her fighting mentality, and I'm gonna do everything in my hands to make her proud.
You know, the mere fact you come back to the World Cup says that. I mean, that's exactly the kind of spirit that your mother had, that she would have wanted you to show. And I want to take you back now to Afghanistan. First of all, you're living there with your parents and your 4 sisters, I think you have.
Yeah.
And your father is in the Afghan military. He's a general, I think, is that right?
Yes.
And he was murdered by the Taliban when you were just 11 years old.
Yeah.
What are your memories of that awful time?
I mean, yeah, 11 years old, vivid memories. I remember everything. It was a very, until that point, I think my life's been always very protective. My dad was a general, my mom was a school teacher, lecturer later on. And we've always been very protected. But after the Taliban gained power, killed my dad because obviously he had a very high position in the army, and everything after that, it was just like chaos. We were trying to survive for a very long time, trying to make it in the country, but it was hard, 5 girls and a mom, single
You went into
mom.
hiding, I think, for
Yes, we did.
quite a while.
Yeah.
And then you went to Pakistan, you got some stolen passports,
Yeah.
and you eventually find yourselves in Denmark. I think you thought you were going to England at one stage.
Yeah, I know. Funny story, huh? We had family in England, and at that point, obviously, we wanted to be reunited with our family. But fate didn't want us to end up in England for some reason. And honestly, I don't really care because we were together and we were in safety, and that's the point of the entire thing.
And there's an amazing moment. You're in Denmark, and you're in like an asylum camp, a refugee camp. And you look over a fence and you see some kids playing football. And you've never played the game, I don't think, until that point. You don't speak either English or Danish, but you're desperate to get involved. And eventually the coach who's teaching these kids says, come on then, you can join in.
Yeah.
What was it about football that you were drawn to?
I mean, there's so many things I'm drawn, to the game. I remember one of the first time I saw a girls' team play. The girls who were playing, they looked happy and they looked free. And me coming from a country where I had to be in hiding and always felt unsafe, that was something that attracted me.
And you'd also been prevented from going to school.
Yes.
Right, by the Taliban.
Yeah, correct. So I don't know, it's just the game was speaking to me and I wanted to be that person on the field. And, it was one of those moments struck by lightning and my eyes were widened up and I was like, I want to be that kid. And, I have this, I don't know, I always thought it was from my dad's side, this fire inside of me, but I for sure know now it's from my mom's side.
Probably both, right?
Yeah, I guess so. It's a combination. Yeah.
And it turns out you are unbelievably good at football. In fact, you go on to play for Denmark over 100 times. You score in a European Championship final. You're a brilliant player. You're one of the great female footballers there's ever been. And yet it was all really just fortuitous. The luck of the draw of life that took you from Afghanistan to Denmark and then this remarkable career.
Fate.
Yeah.
I do believe in fate. And I think also that's one of the reasons I can sit here today after less than 7 days, my mom passed away. Because I'm an emotional person, but I'm very also rational thinking, I think what's meant to be, it's meant to be. And I try to find a positive in every situation I am in. And I think football gave me a life. And, my background brought me to football. And then football gave me the life I have today. And I want to take it and I want to do as much as good possible.
Most people would say that's enough. Drama, horror, challenges for one life, but not you. You've decided to become a doctor. And you're now involved in surgery, in repairing bodies, effectively, right?
Yeah, I actually graduated as a doctor this January 14. I haven't finished, becoming a surgeon yet. This is something I'm going to qualify whenever I'm done. But yeah, doctor is a big thing. My mom, that was one of her wishes, one of her kids to be a doctor. And now she has 2 doctors and 2 nurses in her family. And
And you've been around
excited.
reconstructive surgeons, I know.
Yeah.
And you talked about how some of the skills you need to be a very super confident football player actually they're quite similar to the skills you need to be a top surgeon.
Yeah, definitely. I think you have to be able to work under pressure, the responsibility I really like, and also feels like the adrenaline that you have on the surgeries. It's very similar to scoring
What's
a goal.
scarier, being in a surgical room with a real patient and trying to save their life, or playing in a European Championship final?
I don't think none of them are scary, to be honest. They're both equally exciting.
How many languages do you speak?
Quite a lot.
How many?
Fully around 9.
Which ones?
So I speak Danish, English, French, German, Hindi, Persian, Dari, Urdu. I understand obviously Swedish and Norwegian because they're quite similar to Danish.
Is there anything you can't do?
There probably is quite a lot of things I don't know yet, but if I start focusing on them, I'm probably gonna learn them.
I mean, it's a remarkable story, and I'm again so sorry about the loss of your mother, because it's now so apparent to me why she was such a pivotal person in your life. You know, you made this journey with her from Afghanistan to Denmark. Without her, I guess none of you would have made it.
You're 100% correct, and I really feel she gave us life twice. Once when she gave birth to me, and second time when she took me from Afghanistan to Denmark to have a better future, a brighter future. And yeah, it's someone that I'm gonna always remember, and I want to remember the good, the happy memories I had with her.
What kind of woman was she? Her name was Hadima.
Hamida.
What kind of woman was she?
My mom was a very stubborn woman. If she once set her mind to something, she'll go for it. And it didn't matter if the entire world was against her. She's very intelligent, and then just like this little lady with so much energy in her, so much power, and someone who people listen to. And she touched so many people's lives. And even to her funeral, it was a Friday, 9:30, and we just announced the day before because I'm a Muslim, and our religion, you have to bury, as soon as possible. And there was like thousands of people there, and it just showed what kind of human being she was, someone who touched people's hearts.
Do you feel like she's with you in spirit?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's also the reason I'm so calm. I said I believe in fate. I believe she's in a better place, and what's meant to be is meant to be. And for me to lay down and cry my eyes out for months and months, I don't think that's gonna fix anything. She's not gonna come back. If that was the case, trust me, I'll be the one doing that. So I try to, take that energy, those emotions, and put it something that will remember her, honor her, and hopefully for me, bring me further in life.
You're only 34 years old, and yet you've experienced so much in your life. What's next for you, do you think?
I hope less drama in that ways, less tragedy. I hope that I can grow into a person who can have an impact not only on my life, on people around me, but people who are in need. That's something that I'm passionate about. That's something my mom was passionate about. So yeah, and I work hard for it.
We're going to talk football tonight, obviously. What do you make of the World Cup so far? Who are your picks to perhaps win it?
Honestly, I've been enjoying the World Cup, watching the games at the stadium. It's been great atmosphere. For me, there's a couple of teams who've been doing very well. I think we can all agree on that Brazil looks very sharp. The reason for me they're looking so good and probably one of my favorites to win this tournament is because they're so balanced as a team. They have great strikers, not one player. They have 4 or 5 that can decide games. Great midfield, experience back, and then 2 of the best Premier League keepers there is.
Right.
And France, before the World Cup, I was counting them a bit out because they're missing, the engine and Pogba and Kante. But actually, with the 2 young midfielders, they've been doing very well.
Nadia, really, really wonderful to see you. And we wanted to say everybody at ITV has been thinking about you a lot because it was a shock. Your mother passed away. And we wanted to really just give you a chance to speak about her, Hamida, because I know that she was a huge, huge influence on you, wasn't she?
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you. My mom unfortunately passed away last Tuesday. Very unexpected in an accident. And She was a very strong woman who inspired not only me, a lot of people around her, and obviously I'm sad, but on the other hand, she raised us to be strong, and I think this is how I also show how to be strong, you know, and I want to make her proud. I know she wanted me to be here. I remember when the accident happened, she had said that she's gonna go earlier to the gym so she can see the show. So the reason I'm here is, yeah, for her to make her proud and obviously have a mind on football and work and try to build something instead of, yeah, laying at home and feeling sad for myself.
Well, Nadia, we are really happy here to have you back. We're so happy that you're with us in the studio today. We appreciate it as well. So thank you, and thanks for those amazing words, because I think you're an inspiration as well, and we could spend a lot more time thinking about that too.
خانم آریانای نازنین هم که همشیرگیشان فوت کرده و تکر موتر، خب قسمت و نصیب زندگی همی سرشیبی و سربلایی داره، رفت و آمده داره. خداوند بیامرزه همشیرگی که خانم آریانای نازنینه و باقی ماندهش خداوند عمر طولانی صبر دل نصیب بگرده.
My mom is a really like smart lady, and for her, she always said like, I don't really care about sports or anything as long as you guys are happy, but do not forget that the main thing is school education. So for her it was, you know, kind of like Chiana's parents, I guess. If I told her that I'll only play football, she'd be really, really upset. But I know why, like, you know, because she doesn't know like the professional game, or she didn't know how it worked and if it could be secure enough for us. So until like recently, she would call me and be like, can you not just cancel this game because there's so much. So she doesn't really gets it, but she knows that this is what makes me happy and this is my passion, you know, and That's why she's been always supportive, always never said anything, even though to her it doesn't come natural because of her, you know, culture, tradition, how she's been. When life puts you in situations you do not want to be in, you feel it right here. This feeling that grows bigger, this knot, that's how it starts. Not the spark, does not discriminate. It doesn't matter what you've been through, who you are, where you're going. Everyone gets it. So when you get it, use it as a fuel for your dreams. Use it to dream, and when you dream big. You know, my mom's from a generation in Afghanistan where it wasn't okay for a girl to go to school. She comes from that kind of, you know, family. She had to sneak behind her dad to go to school because she loved school so much, you know. And I know that exists, and there's so many girls right now that don't have the access. I want to be a part of to change that because at the end, the way you can change anything is by knowing how to change it, you know, and how do you know stuff is by learning.